conversation has no depth, no calm. These niggas faking that shit, and you see it, bro. They're not strong enough to face the camera, bro.
What's up, cousins, and welcome back again on another episode. How are you all doing today? I hope you guys are doing great. And if you are joining for the very first time, where have you been? Thank you so much for tuning in, and please don't make this your last time. In today's video, we have a white lady who decided to sympathize with our brothers and sisters because she feels like Africans are taking over, pouring in from different parts of the world and taking what belongs to them. I know you guys are familiar with this line that these people say, like Africans are coming over to take their job, their house, their land, and stuff like that. And let's not even go to who started all of that. But I need you guys to see the response that this guy gave this white lady when she said something like that. And without wasting much time, let me just roll the clip so we can get into it.
But like, how are Europeans supposed to act or react when Africans are pouring in from everywhere at the moment?
They should accept them.
They should just be like, oh, come, take our homes, take
They
our
should
jobs,
accept
take
Africans.
everything.
Because when you guys came in mass to Africa,
But that was so long ago. I
that
cannot even bring
was so
it in
long
now
ago.
anymore.
But your companies are still there looting Africa.
Perhaps.
Neo-colonialism.
Perhaps.
You are still there stealing our resources, using our resources to develop your countries, and you don't want us to come here. You are asking how should you guys react when we come here.
Example, how are we supposed to react?
Imagine a thief steals your television, your TV, and you go to his house to watch a soccer game. How should the thief react? Exactly. Just be quiet.
That is the clip, you guys. And when I tell you this clip is on my For You page on TikTok, it's on Instagram as well, it's on Twitter, just going viral because of this guy's response. The TV analogy is literally killing me because that was so funny. But the silence that came after that is the response that we need from them. They need to be quiet. When the guy was talking about how the companies are still there looting Africa, she was saying perhaps. And does not even make any sense to this lady, but we all know them. I'm sure anyone who has been following the descendants of the colonizers already know that this is not a new thing for them to say. It's not new. I just love how this guy responded to her. This video went viral, but there was so much of people just reposting this video, especially because of how the guy replied. I was able to get few stitches, and here is what these people are saying about this video.
They should just be like, oh, come, take our homes, take
I don't know what race this lady is, but she talking about Africans coming into whatever country she from. I don't even need to know what race, ethnicity you are. I know for a fact your people did the same shit to Africans. Now take that mask off and drop your real name so I can address you properly.
But like, how are Europeans supposed to act or react when Africans are poor?
So the guy goes on to make a really good point to counter her, right? He says, what are you talking about? Your nation steals the resources of our nations. And so our nations who aren't able to properly profit off of these particular resources end up coming to your nation in order to benefit from our own resources that were just taken by you. An excellent counterpoint. But I want to add a little bit more to it because I want to point out that most refugee crises are a direct result of Western powers and European nations. The US included, right? We are the reason for many of regions being destabilized, causing a refugee crisis. And in a lot of ways, it's not just the proxy wars and all that stuff that I'm always talking about. It's also other things such as climate change, right? Climate change, the big proponents of climate change are the major superpowers and European nations who are creating so much pollution. Our industrial revolution is still something that has an effect on the global climate crisis today. And only now when these other black and brown nations are trying to develop, right, and they're doing it in such a way that's very similar to the way that these European nations, including the US, were able to develop, what ends up happening? They end up being criticized and told they're not doing it quite right, even though they're doing it in similar fashion to the other nations who did it before. And as climate change continues, right, people are being, unfortunately, pushed out of their homes or know that there's going to be a time where the water line is going to come up a little bit further and they're going to lose a lot of land. And because they're going to lose a lot of land, they're trying to get to other nations where it would be safe. It is interesting to see that the very cause of these particular problems don't want to do anything to help the people who are direct victims of it. But you know what the really, really screwed up thing is? I know that all I just said is pretty messed up, but it gets even more interesting when you think of it from this perspective. If you're an American citizen, you benefit so little from these atrocities and horrible acts that it is really kind of sad because we too live in a destitute situation. We deal with an economic oppression situation. And that economic oppression is something enforced by our corporate elites and masters here, right? And so these guys, they go out, they steal the resources of other nations and make incredible amounts of profits. And those profits don't really trickle down to the American citizenry. So very few people actually benefit at the end of the day. So it's odd to me that when we have immigrants coming here, we're looking at them like they're the cause of our problems. In fact, there are people who say immigrants are the reason for all this crime, when in reality, in most cases, most crime is committed by actual citizens. And immigrants tend to be the ones who are following the law to a T because they fear deportation. Additionally, wrongfully here, a lot of people don't think immigrants pay taxes, which they do. We pay taxes on everything. How would they get away from it? Anyway, the point being that if you bear down on all these different nations across the world, these black and brown countries, and you take everything from them, you cause them to have destabilization, you put in power the most far-right lunatics who cause violence to happen and break out by supporting them with your funding, your foreign funding, all over the world, causing all of these freaking travesties and horrible actions, you would think you would take responsibility and help the people that you end up displacing. And then if you're not going to help those people, at least use your ill-gotten gains to help your own, and neither of which is really being done. So I say again, if that is your mentality, if you have any anti-immigrant sentiment in you, just know that I unequivocally am diametrically opposed to your mentality, and I think you're very wrong, and that's a very evil way to think. We are human beings. This planet is our birthright. We should not be told when and where to go places, or being told what places belong to who, especially if the person who's the most apt to say stuff like that is the one who stole it through violence and threat of force from indigenous people. And then I just want to add another point. As somebody who went to Africa, I went to Kenya, and it was a beautiful trip. I love the people there. It was a really great thing. I do plan to go and see many more nations on the continent. However, there's a thing that I found really sad, and I made a video about it before, but I'll say this again. When I went to Kenya and I saw all these churches and so many people who were Christian, I don't have a problem with people being Christian. I'm not an anti-theist of any sort, right? Believe what you want to believe. Find solace in the things you find solace. Just don't harm anyone. But the thing is, when I see a church in a place like that, where they have traditions, beliefs, and ideologies and cultures that predate the religion that was forced upon them by Europeans, right? When I think about that, it hurts my heart, because it's like you were forced into this position through rifle and Bible, through colonialism, right? And what was lost? What was replaced by this? And then on top of that, you are forced to sacrifice such deep and important sentiments of your own existence, your own tradition, your own culture, your own values, your own language, right? Your own religion. All of these different belief structures that were forced upon you by your would-be oppressor and the person stealing all your resources so that your nation can't properly capitalize on it. Through all that, and then after your situation has become totally unattainable, you're like, hey, I need to get out of here. I need to go somewhere safe. The people who forced this all upon you, all right, the way that you speak being something forced upon you originally, right? The religion you believe forced upon you, they look at you and say you're too different to come here. And I would get it if it was just as difficult, right, across the board. If you're a European nation, or like in the case of the United States, if it was hard for all immigrants to come and immigrate here, I wouldn't be so against it. But the unfortunate truth is it's exceptionally harder if you're black and brown to immigrate to European nations, US included. It's not hyperbole when I've said it before that Western powers are totally okay with genocide as long as it's not them. And the last point I want to make is when it comes to the resources, and a lot of people will say, oh, well, if we have all these immigrants, we won't have enough for ourselves. The reality is there's plenty of resources, including food, to go around. Again, the United States is one of the biggest proponents of food waste. And it's important to realize that it's not that there's not enough resources for everyone to be happy and enjoy. There just isn't enough resources to satiate the absolute greed of the corporate elite.
When Africans are pouring in from everywhere at the moment,
They should accept them.
It amazes me how people say that, oh my God, the Africans are coming into Europe, they're coming, they're pouring in and all that. And homeboy, it's like you should accept them, especially since You know, melanated people make everything better. Your healthcare system will be better. Your fields, your stores, your everything will be better when you let them in, because, you know, they're going to work hard. They're going to take care of everybody because they're the mothers of the earth. So everything will be better if you just shut the fuck up and let them in and let them get the business going. You know what I'm saying?
What are your thoughts about what they all said? What do you think about the main video and as well the stitches? Share your thoughts in the comment section and let's continue this conversation there. And before you go as well, please don't forget to smash the like button and turn your bell notification on. And whenever someone says something around you like, oh, you guys are coming to steal our land, to take over our jobs, because I'm very, very sure that this is not the very first video that I have seen of them, this descendants of the colonizers, talking about, you know, Africans coming over to take their job, their stuff and just things like that. Whenever someone say that thing around you, now you have a better response for them, because I am so sure that they will be so silent at the end of you making a TV analogy. Just use the TV analogy for them when they say that, oh, Africans are coming over to take and this and this and that, after you all have stolen so much and still denying them reparation. They will continue to come take over because they feel like they are taking over. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all so much for joining, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Make sure you turn your bell notification on to get notified anytime there is new updates, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, and I love you all.